Embracing a more sustainable lifestyle is a beautiful and rewarding endeavor. It begins with small, thoughtful actions right in our own homes. For those of us living in apartments or condominiums, the idea of composting might seem like a distant dream, a practice reserved for sprawling country gardens. However, it is not only possible but wonderfully simple to transform your very own balcony into a hub of ecological renewal. Balcony composting is a marvelous way to reduce household waste, diminish your carbon footprint, and create something truly valuable from what would otherwise be discarded. It connects us more deeply to the cycles of nature, even amidst the bustle of city life. Think of the kitchen scraps you discard each day, the coffee grounds from your morning brew, the peel from a banana, the trimmings from fresh vegetables. These items, so often relegated to the trash bin, are in fact filled with precious nutrients. When sent to a landfill, they decompose anaerobically, releasing methane, a potent greenhouse gas. By choosing to compost, you are intercepting this cycle. You are actively participating in a process that transforms waste into black gold, a nutrient-rich soil amendment that will make your container plants thrive like never before. It is an elegant solution, turning a problem into a resource with just a little effort and care. This practice offers more than just environmental benefits. It provides a deep sense of satisfaction. So, let us embark on this journey together. Let's begin turning your kitchen scraps into treasure. It's a good thing. The secret to successful composting lies in understanding the perfect recipe. It is all about balance. Much like baking a perfect cake, we need a healthy mix of greens and browns. The greens are nitrogen-rich and typically moist. They provide proteins and amino acids that microorganisms need to multiply. Think of these as the fuel for your compost pile. Apple cores, potato peels, carrot tops, citrus rinds, used coffee grounds, tea bags, remove staples, crushed eggshells. On the other side are the browns. Browns are carbon-rich and typically dry. They add bulk and create air pockets to aerate the pile. Aeration prevents foul odors and speeds breakdown. Shredded newspaper, no glossy ink, torn-up cardboard, egg cartons boxes, dry leaves, wood shavings, sawdust, untreated. Aim for 1 part greens to 2 or 3 parts browns by volume. Now, what to leave out? Meat scraps, fish scraps, poultry scraps, and bones. Cheese, yogurt, milk, salad dressings, cooking oils. These items attract pests and cause odors. Follow these do's and don'ts and your compost will be a treasure, not a trouble. The first step in our practical journey is selecting the right container. Your compost bin is the heart of the operation, and for a balcony, it must be compact, tidy, and efficient. You have several wonderful options, ranging from simple do-it-yourself solutions to commercially designed systems. One straightforward, cost-effective method is to make your own bin using 2 opaque plastic storage totes with one fitting snugly inside the other. The outer tote acts as a reservoir for leachate while the inner tote holds the compost materials. Choose opaque containers because darkness aids decomposition and discourages pests. Simple, discreet, and effective. If you prefer ready-made, look for a compost tumbler. Sealed drum on a stand rotated with a handle for easy mixing and aeration. Clean, no pitchfork needed. Fully enclosed, great for balconies, contains materials, minimizes odors, keeps pests out. Various sizes fit different balconies and household waste, stylish and functional. Another choice, worm composting or vermicomposter. Red wiggler worms break down food scraps. The result? Rich worm castings. An excellent soil amendment. Vertical, stackable trays save space. Regardless of choice, key features: proper aeration and drainage. Selecting the right bin is the first step toward a functional, seamless, attractive addition to your outdoor living space. Once you have chosen your composting vessel, it is time to prepare it for its important work. Properly setting up your bin is a crucial step that will ensure a smooth and successful composting journey from the very beginning. Let's begin with the DIY 2-tote method. Take your inner tote and, using an electric drill with a 1/4-inch bit, create a pattern of holes across the entire bottom surface, spaced about 1 to 2 inches apart. This is for drainage. Next, drill several rows of holes along all 4 sides of the tote, from bottom to top, to provide essential aeration. Place a few small bricks in the bottom of the outer, undrilled tote to elevate the inner bin, creating a space for leachate to collect. Show the assembled inner and outer tote, simple but vital for a healthy aerobic environment. Now, we must lay the foundation for our compost. The initial layer in any new compost bin is the most important, as it establishes the proper environment for microbial life to flourish. Begin by adding a generous base layer of brown materials, about 3 to 4 inches deep. Shredded newspaper, torn cardboard, dried leaves. This bulky layer acts like a sponge, soaking up any excess moisture from the greens you will add later and preventing the bottom of your bin from becoming a soggy, anaerobic mess. It also ensures good airflow from the very start, which is essential for preventing odors and encouraging rapid decomposition. This bedding layer is the cornerstone of your composting system. After establishing your brown base, it is time to activate your compost pile. You can do this by adding a shovelful of finished compost from a friend's pile, a small amount of garden soil. This is not strictly necessary, but it is highly recommended as it introduces a diverse population of beneficial microorganisms right away, effectively kickstarting the decomposition process. Think of it as adding a sourdough starter to your bread dough. It inoculates the mixture with the life it needs to transform. Finally, lightly moisten the initial layers. The contents of your compost bin should be about as damp as a wrung-out sponge, not dripping wet, but not dry either. Your composting system is now officially open for business and ready to start receiving its first contributions from your kitchen. It is a very satisfying moment. Section 5. The Daily Ritual. Adding scraps to your bin. Establishing a simple and consistent routine for adding kitchen scraps is the key to effortless composting. I keep a small lidded container on the kitchen counter for daily collections. A ceramic crock, a stainless steel pail, any attractive canister will do the trick. This countertop container is a temporary holding spot for your coffee grounds, vegetable peels, fruit cores, eggshells throughout the day. This eliminates multiple trips to the balcony and keeps things neat and tidy. At the end of the day, or when the container is full, carry its contents out to your main compost bin. When you add fresh green materials to the main bin, do it correctly to keep a balanced, odor-free environment. Do not simply dump scraps on top and walk away. Instead, use a small hand trowel or a stick to pull back the top layer, creating a small pocket in the center. Deposit your kitchen scraps into this pocket. Burying fresh food waste is a crucial technique. It prevents fruit flies and other pests, and it immediately puts new material in contact with active microorganisms. After burying your greens, always cover them with a fresh layer of browns. Keep a separate lidded container full of shredded paper. After adding scraps, sprinkle a generous handful or two of browns to completely cover the deposit. This brown layer acts as a biofilter, absorbing potential odors. Follow this ritual and you'll maintain a healthy, productive balcony compost with minimal effort. It becomes a satisfying, grounding daily task. While the microorganisms do the heavy lifting, they require our assistance to work most efficiently. The process of turning or mixing your compost is essential for aerating the pile, distributing moisture and heat, blending the newly added materials with those that are already decomposing. Aeration is perhaps the most critical benefit of turning. As microbes break down organic matter, they consume oxygen. By mixing the pile, you replenish the oxygen supply throughout the bin, ensuring that the aerobic bacteria, the fast, odorless workers, remain dominant. Without sufficient oxygen, anaerobic microbes take over, slowing decomposition to a crawl and producing the foul, sour smells we want to avoid. Regular turning keeps the process sweet-smelling and swift. How often you should turn your compost depends on your goals and your system. For a faster breakdown, you can turn the pile every 1 to 2 weeks. If you are using a compost tumbler, this task is remarkably easy. You simply need to close the lid securely and rotate the drum 5 to 10 times. This tumbles all the contents together, perfectly mixing them with very little effort. If you are using a DIY tote system, the process is a bit more hands-on, but still quite simple. Use a small garden fork or a compost aerator tool, a long rod with winged tips, to gently lift and fluff the materials. Your goal is to move the material from the outer edges into the hotter center and bring the material from the bottom up to the top. When you turn the pile, it is also the perfect opportunity to assess its condition. Pay attention to the moisture level. As you mix, grab a handful of the compost and give it a gentle squeeze. It should feel like a damp sponge, releasing just a drop or two of water. If it feels dry and crumbly, use a spray bottle to add a little water as you mix. If it is sopping wet and releases a stream of water when squeezed, it is too moist. In this case, you should mix in a generous amount of dry brown materials. Turning the pile also helps to regulate temperature. A healthy, active compost pile will generate its own heat. This regular, thoughtful mixing is not a chore but a collaboration with nature. It is your way of guiding the process, ensuring all the ingredients are working together harmoniously to create that precious black gold for your plants. It is a satisfying and vital step. Even the most carefully tended compost bin can occasionally present a challenge, but do not be discouraged. Every issue has a simple solution. One of the most common concerns for new composters is odor. If your bin begins to smell unpleasant, like ammonia rotten eggs, it is a clear sign that the pile has become anaerobic, meaning it lacks oxygen. This is almost always caused by an imbalance: too much moisture, too many nitrogen-rich green materials. The solution is straightforward. First, stop adding greens. Then, thoroughly turn the pile while mixing in a generous amount of dry brown materials like shredded paper, cardboard, sawdust. This will absorb excess moisture and create air pockets, restoring the aerobic conditions needed for odor-free decomposition. Another frequent visitor to the compost bin is the fruit fly. While harmless, they can be a nuisance, especially on a balcony where you wish to relax. The presence of fruit flies means they have found exposed food scraps to lay their eggs on. The key to banishing them is prevention through proper technique. Always, without exception, bury your fresh kitchen scraps deep within the pile rather than leaving them on the surface. After burying them, cover the area with a thick 1 to 2 inch layer of brown materials. This creates a physical barrier that prevents the flies from accessing the food source. Sometimes, you might notice that your compost pile does not seem to be doing much of anything. It is not heating up, and the materials are not breaking down. This sluggishness is usually due to one of two things: lack of nitrogen, a lack of moisture. The fix is to add a fresh infusion of green materials like coffee grounds, vegetable scraps, and to lightly moisten the pile with a spray bottle before mixing it all together. While a well-managed, sealed bin should not attract rodents or other pests, ensuring your bin's lid is always secure is paramount. By understanding these common issues and their simple remedies, you can approach composting with confidence. It is all part of the learning process. After weeks or months of patient tending, the magical moment of harvest will arrive. Knowing when your compost is finished is a matter of engaging your senses. The first indicator is its appearance. Finished compost, or humus, is a beautiful thing to behold. It will be dark brown or black, with a fine, crumbly texture similar to rich soil. You should no longer be able to identify the original materials you put in: apple cores, coffee grounds, cardboard strips. The second and most delightful sign is the smell. Give your finished compost a good sniff. It should have a wonderfully pleasant, earthy and sweet aroma, like the scent of a forest floor after a rain. Now comes the most rewarding part: using your homemade compost to nourish your plants. One of the best ways to use it is as a top dressing. Simply sprinkle a 1 to 2 inch layer on the soil surface. When you water, nutrients slowly leach down into the root zone, providing a steady, gentle feed. It also acts as a mulch, helping soil retain moisture, suppressing weeds. It is a simple application with profound benefits. When potting new plants or repotting old ones, create your own supercharged potting mix. Blend 1 part compost, 2 parts potting soil, plus 1 part perlite or 1 part vermiculite. This creates a living soil rich in organic matter, improves soil structure, enhances water retention, supplies macronutrients, supplies micronutrients. Plants will be healthier, more resilient to pests and diseases, produce more vibrant flowers, and deliver a more bountiful harvest herbs and vegetables. Another marvelous use is to create a compost tea. Place a few cups of finished compost into a porous cloth bag, old pantyhose cheesecloth. Tie the bag shut, steep overnight in a 5-gallon bucket of water. Next day, nutrient-rich, light brown liquid used to water plants. Tea is full of beneficial microbes, can protect leaves from fungal diseases when used as a foliar spray. By closing this loop, you've accomplished something special. You diverted waste from the landfill, reduced your environmental impact, created a superior, all-natural product for your urban garden. You witnessed the cycle of decay and rebirth firsthand. I encourage you to embrace this simple, beautiful practice. Start small, be patient, enjoy the process. Balcony composting is more than a technique, it's a statement of care for your home, your community, your planet. It is a very, very good thing.